Montessori is a philosophy of education that came out of observation of the child. And really everything we do is observing what the children are doing in the environment and linking them to activities that serve whatever's going on for them developmentally. A toddler is in this place in their development where all of the things they're doing because it comes from this drive within them. And it's that drive to learn and find out everything they can about their environment. That toddler needs to be able to explore, and they need to be able to do things themselves. It's just, life is just pushing them towards that. In this context, we are called guides, I feel, because we guide them and we show them materials that will let the child teach themselves. We'll let that learning come from inside, that development that's pushing them forward. The materials we have in the classroom help the child do that. Presently, I am working with 12, 15 months to 3-year-old children. We're in a classroom type setting, but it's a little bit like a home type setting in that the children get to do all the activities of daily life that even in this day and age they may not even get to do at home. They set their own place at the table. Even the new tiny ones that come in, right from the beginning, we give them the opportunity to set up their lunch setting. There's also the opportunity for them to care for other things in the environment, like the children water the plants in the classroom. They also even dust the leaves and wash the leaves of the plants. As they grow, it seems like they just get this love of learning that comes from within them. A Montessori classroom gives them the opportunity to just fulfill all their desires for learning. And it just continues as the program goes up. You see them experiencing all these new things, and everything is so filled with wonder, and they're so excited. There's so much celebration about life, and it's just such a great place to be in that celebration all the time.
Children ages 3 to 6, this is what we call primary, and that is a very special time in life. Children are in formation. Their personalities aren't complete. They are building themselves. And their characteristics while they're doing that is that they are very concrete and sensorial. They learn by wrapping their hands around the world. And anyone who's been around a child under the age of 6 knows that. They can't resist literally touching, but they're really exploring with all of their senses. So one of the primary characteristics of a 3 to 6-year-old is a concrete sensorial learner. They're also parallel learners. They tend to follow their own inner guide. Sometimes they look like they're doing the same things, and of course they're also very social. But in terms of learning activity, they really thrive best when they are able to just follow their own independent line of exploration. They're explorers. So their whole job in life is to find out about this place they found themselves. They found themselves in a world, they don't know anything about it, and so they are in the process of literally finding out about that world and creating themselves as a person of that time and place. In a classroom for 3 to 6-year-olds, probably one of the most unique features is the movement of the children. Since they are parallel learners on this exploration of their world, each child in the room will appear to be on their own path of activity. A unique feature of Montessori education is free choice of activity. The child chooses what he or she does. A child can work or use a material for as long as he or she wants. No one's going to come and say, you've had that long enough, put it away. No one's going to time them and say you have to use it for a certain amount of time. That's part of the free choice that's built into any Montessori educational environment. Also, particularly for the 3 to 6-year-old, they're not going to have to share that material or that activity. And everyone in the room has been oriented to a very important rule, which is that when something is on the shelf, it's available. If it's not on the shelf, it means someone's using it, and it's not going to be available again until it's back on the shelf. This is a really important rule or limit that's built into the Montessori environment. And that relieves this parallel learner from this anxiety that they're going to have to let someone else use what they're using. The sharing that happens in a Montessori environment is much more profound than what we usually think of in an early childhood environment. It means that everyone is sharing this one material, but respecting that when someone has it, it's theirs. It also means that I think respect in general is a really important feature of a Montessori educational environment. Since everyone is using this same material and they're going to put it back ready for someone else to use, they're going to put it back exactly the way they would like to find it too. So we actually build the golden rule right into every choice and every activity.
There's a lot to love about this work. There's a lot to love about working with children. Just being around children all the time gives you plenty of gratification in many different ways. But I think of all the things I love about this work, I feel like every day I get to show up and be patient and compassionate and kind and show humility and all of those higher traits of being human, all of those things all of us strive to do in our lives. I get to do that every single day.
It's interesting that in systems other than Montessori, that the elementary years are the time when we start to focus on everyone does their own work and they need to be at their own table and they need their own book and they need their own homework. And in Montessori, in response to what the children do naturally, we're setting up our classrooms so that the children work together and collaborate and learn all of the skills, all of the kind of hidden skills that go into being able to do that. And in some ways, that's much more reflective of what work in the real world is like, in the adult world.
Montessori education helps children discover, I think, what is best about themselves. They find that they're all different, that they all have different strengths and things that are more difficult for them, and yet they're able to bring out their strengths and work on the things that aren't as easy for them in a very supportive environment. And it's peaceful, and it makes them peaceful inside, and it changes the way they think about themselves and other people and differences and humanity. I think it's a systemic change that happens within children.
I think one of the really special things to think about when you look at the classroom is to look at how there's freedom and yet everybody is doing something productive and meaningful. And so I think that's something that really defines the classroom. In a Montessori classroom, there's a great sense of freedom, but it's used as a gift and it's used wisely. I love to be busy, and I love the movement and the freedom and the energy. I love that everything is just sort of resting at this near chaotic level, and it's just moving and moving and moving, and there's so much happening, and it works so well. I love that no matter how active it is, it's always productive and happy, and that hum in the classroom is so positive, and that the children can really find pleasure in work and learn to work in an environment that is constantly moving and fluctuating. And I love just being a part of that big picture. It's this tiny community, in one room, and there's so much to it. To be a part of so many interactions and so many people's lives, and to see the joy and learning and work and movement is just so enjoyable for me.
One of the main things Montessori does is it mirrors the kind of experiences that we have as adults, but on a smaller scale. Like, what does society expect of us? It expects us to be self-regulating. It expects us to be able to make choices. It expects us to be self-sufficient, so we're not a drain on others. It expects us to be considerate of other people and follow a certain set of rules, but within those rules, we kind of get freedom to do what we like. So for me, at least, Montessori classrooms are a mirror of what the society at large expects of us. And if you're talking about something that's going to prepare children for the world, this is it.